Good evening. Welcome to the QCIS channel. Where on this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. My name is Leon Jones, and what I'm going to talk about this evening is road safety. In other words, for a number of us, including myself, might work for DPW, a city DPW, or a city Department of Transportation, or a state Department of Transportation. And you need to understand traffic control and safety awareness. That's the title of this video, traffic control, safety awareness. Now, you do need traffic control for safety awareness. Now, when it comes to construction, it is a dangerous profession, whether you're working on the vertical side of construction or on a horizontal side of construction. Safety is everyone's responsibility. And when we deal with construction, you deal with what we call the 1929 CFR. That is for construction. And that's designated by OSHA. And you should have your OSHA 10 and your OSHA 30 out there when you're working. But what I'm going to do is give you information on what we have as some safety awareness and road safety. And this is awareness training. Now, this is by the Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. Very important that you get this information. And during this presentation, I'm going to discuss the requirements and safety awareness for highway workers and road construction. Now, this includes and is not limited to flaggers, maintenance crews, Department of Transportation employees, heavy equipment operators, supervisors, etc. And of course, so you'll know, this training does not replace OSHA training requirements and or state or district requirements regarding training. Again, this is an overview, and you're actually getting it free right here because this information is very important. You're right to know your 29 CFR 1926 DOT MUTCD. Now, what does MUTCD stand for? That's your manual or uniform traffic control devices. Now, for the most part, I'm going to describe the purpose of traffic control devices. I'm going to interpret OSHA's role and standards regarding road safety and hazards. I'm going to basically talk about implementing, and I'm going to define basic fundamentals of road safety, identify road hazards, and I'm going to recognize and implement safety methods to protect people and personnel like myself. And of course, everybody has coworkers in the construction business, in this business, from road hazards. Now, when we get into work zone traffic safety, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, workers struck by materials, vehicles, or even mobile equipment account for the highest number of fatal work injuries. Now, the numbers might be off. We're in 2024, but this information is 7 years from 1995 to 2002, and 844 people were killed almost in a decade. Again, from being struck by vehicles or mobile equipment. Now, when we deal with traffic control devices, what are they used for? They're used to promote highway safety, notify road users of regulations. They provide warning and guidance needed for the operation of traffic stream, and they're intended to minimize crashes. Now, again, The MUTCD is the national standard for highway safety, and it provides guidance for flagger training and safety procedures. That's in chapter 6 Echo or 6E. Again, now we get into flaggers. You see the paddle, stop, slow. Generally, your paddles should be at least 72 inches high. These are all of your signals. This is in part 4, the MUTCD. These are all of your signs out here. Generally, when you have yellow signs are your caution signs, your warning signs. If they're white, they're your regulated signs or your regulation signs. Okay. Most important, when you're out there flagging, again, flaggers are responsible for public safety in the highways and must be properly trained in safe traffic control practices and public contact techniques. Flaggers are to be used only when other reasonable methods will not adequately control traffic. So when signs do not provide adequate protection, you use flaggers. Again, flaggers must be trained. They must be able to recognize dangerous traffic situations and they can warn workers. And information, very important. Flaggers must have their eyes on the road. They must not be assigned to any other duties. Work safety consideration, flagger training. Again, all workers should be trained on working safely adjacent to vehicular traffic, work zone traffic control techniques, device usage, safety devices, traffic control devices, placement of traffic control devices, relevant OSHA regulation 29 CFR 1926.21, safety training and education. Again, the workers assuming specific temporary traffic control responsibilities, again, should be trained on the appropriate traffic control techniques because it's very important because they want to meet the expectations of drivers entering to and traveling through a work zone. And again, flaggers must stand in the closed lane or shoulder, exception when road use has stopped. Also, when directing backing vehicles, flagger must remain visible to the driver. Again, I'm just going to say it again. Flaggers are responsible for public safety in the highways. They have to be trained in traffic control practices. Flaggers are no longer accepted as a means of controlling traffic except when we have emergencies. Now, flaggers must not use devices which may distract the vision, hearing, or attention. Cell phones, pagers, radios, and headphones. The only time a flagger should have a radio is when a traffic pattern is long and they have to radio to the other traffic flagger that's maybe a mile away and hey, it's clear here, they're coming your way. Single and this is basically most of your traffic operations, you have single and two flagger operations. Most of the time when you have a single flagger operation, the traffic is very low. You're going to be on rural roads, probably have a single lane. Now, for your high volume roads, your intersections and your long distance, just like I mentioned before, you're going to have two flagger operations. Flagger safety equipment, hard hat, vest, of course, your reflected pants. You should have hearing protection, whistle, paddles, because a variety of safety equipment is used by flaggers and it depends on the environment. Safety gear must be provided by the employer. In your work zones, you have advanced warning areas, a transition area, a buffer space, an activity area, and a termination area. Work traffic control. And here is an example of a traffic control or work area. You have your temporary pavement marking, your no passing zone. These are all your signs, and your signs are placed according to specifications. I'll give you an example. If you're on the interstate and you have a work ahead sign, well, your first work ahead sign should be a mile. Give everybody a warning, a mile. Then it goes down to 1,500, 1,000, 500 feet. You should have enough transitional area, enough buffer space. And you need to understand what the signs mean. Do not pass. That's a regulation sign, but this is a warning sign. It means you have a flagger ahead. But this is what, and these are barricades. This is what traffic control patterns look like, because that's what this is about. The flagger is part of the traffic control patterns when you're going to have tapers. You need an area for contractors to do their work. Now you have advanced work zone transition areas. And what you have associated with that is a TTC. That's a temporary traffic control plan. Then you're going to have barricades, barriers, and vertical panels, reverse lane markings. You're going to have signs, have cones. You're even going to have a flagger. Now, a traffic control plan is required if work will last more than one day. A traffic control plan is used for movement of vehicles in areas where workers where they're going to be conducting other tasks. Now, of course, this is all headed by the construction project manager, and he or she will determine the internal traffic control plan within the construction or demolition work site. Traffic control plans should be prepared by a qualified person or an engineer. Again, highway construction warning signs must be visible. Electronic signs must not be used to promote businesses. This is one of your traffic signs. Now this should not be, this is business, it says go Steelers. That should not be in a work zone. That is promoting a business. Then you have your caution sign. Look out for construction traffic. I'm gonna get into types of signs. These are your warning signs right here. That's what they look like. And your warning signs, and of course your arrow board. You have to make sure that if you're inspecting a construction project, you need to make sure that all of the bulbs on the message board are lit. You need to make sure that all of the signs are legible. Also, you need to make sure that all of your traffic control devices are visible. If they're missing reflection, if they're dented, get rid of them. You want to have a clear traffic pattern because liability is associated with work zones. You have a number of people, construction workers and non-construction workers, that have passed away due to negligence. Now, the negligence is also on the drivers, but as a contractor and as a DOT, you want to cover yourself by utilizing the correct signs. Make sure traffic, this is my opinion, you should check traffic twice a day. And once you check it, you should document your traffic. Now, if something happens when you're not at work, you've already documented everything. But generally, a lot of your traffic patterns, you may have roving traffic patterns. I'll give you an example of a roving traffic pattern. You could be taking out RPMs, your raised pavement markers. So you're going to be rolling with an attenuated truck. You may have a flagger as well. That pattern is always roving. It's very temporary. It's going to last that day. Now you may have a pattern that's going to be long-term temporary. And this is when you need to check all of your signs. Now, I know I was on a job in Frankfurt. The construction manager there should have had the inspectors check the signs twice a day. He did it once every 2 weeks. I did not agree with that. And I believe that he did it to save himself. If you are out there on the site, I know if I come out there on the site, I'm going to know if you've checked the traffic because I would have been there and I'm going to come back and ask you. And I'm going to ask for your documentation. And say, when did you check it? You're not going to be able to pull anything on me because I'm also going to look at it myself and I'm also going to document what's going wrong. And I might ask you, hey, did you correct that cone, that barrel? Because there's some inspectors out there that they get slick. Now, I'm not out here telling anybody to pull a gotcha game. But it is very important to understand that when you're working out there on the road, traffic control is not just the contractor's responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility. And again, the signs that you see, there are some of them that you're going to encounter when approaching a highway construction project. And in summary, I just want to say this, flaggers must be trained. Again, only use when other methods, signs, signals, and barricades do not provide necessary protection. Maintain situational awareness, wear protective clothing. And if you need more information, go get a copy. It's online of the MUTCD. And here are the references. 29 CFR 1926. Signs, signals, and barricades, 1926.200. DOT, number of your DOTs out there, they mimic the manual uniform traffic and control devices, the 2009 edition. Pennsylvania does, Ohio does, I believe Indiana does as well. And again, you want safety training and education, 29 CFR 1926.21. Again, when you're working out there on the roads, traffic is everybody's priority. It's a liability. And the last thing that you need to understand, when you come to work, you want to leave the work the same way you came in. Alive. So make sure you are protecting yourself out there on the roads. Don't be a casualty. And that concludes this topic on safety awareness and traffic control. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you are looking for some political and some social content, you can check out my main channel, the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show channel. It's also on YouTube. Here's where you can find me. For the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show channel, you can find me on YouTube, X, which is Twitter. I'm now on Rumble, and I'm also on Truth Social. And for the QCIS channel, you can find me on YouTube, also on X, which is Twitter, and LinkedIn. And once again, thank you for listening and viewing this topic, safety awareness and road safety. right here on the QCIS channel. On this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful and gracious evening.